There seems to be some mass exodus going on here, just from what, just massive Netflix fans. You've just come, what, you thought it was going to be the cast of Orange is the New Black. Disappointed, left. Is that what's going on here? I don't know who this is. Oh, this is reserved for Executive Summit. The Executive Summit are clearly going for a meeting somewhere. People at the back, can you hear me? Excellent, good. Are you getting any reverb? No. Okay, good. We like that. Just people over here? Woo. People over here? Let's divide this audience up. What's your name there? Sharon. Sharon. What do you do, Sharon? Talent acquisition. So this part of the audience, you're now called Sharon. Anyone from here over? What's your name? This part of the audience, this whole half of the audience, what's your name? That's good. Except this whole half of the audience, what's your name? This whole half of the audience, what's your name? What do you do? Great. How old are you? Groupthink. How old are you? Groupthink. I heard 42. Are they close? Yes. Boom. Is that you, Sharon? Yeah, you don't look a day over 31. This side of the audience, what's your name, sir? Second row, beard. Jason. This side of the audience, you're now called Jason. What's your name? Jason. Oh, Jason is better than Sharon. What's your name? Sharon. Oh, now Sharon is better than Jason. What's your name? Jason. Oh, now Jason is better than Sharon. This is how competition works, gang. What do you do, Jason? Oh, no, together. Just feel it, open your mouth, see what comes out. What do you do? Is that correct? Oh my God, they're amazing. How old were you when you had your first kiss? Groupthink. I heard 23? Is that right? Yeah? Okay. He's saying lower. His hand is saying lower, but his face is saying, damn it, they got it right. His face is going, whatever. Okay, great. All right. So we're getting some feel for the room. We've got Sharon, we've got Jason, lovely. I'm going to talk to you about charismatic leadership. Nelly was Netflix, I'm chill. Think of us that way. I was talking to some guys last night, and I was saying to them, like, what's your biggest, what's it like being in recruitment? And they said, oh, it's fun, but there's a lot of rejection. And I said, yeah, I get it, I've been on Tinder. You're swiping right and they're swiping up. Some days it's just like that. You just don't get a lot of matches. And they were like, yeah, that's basically it. It's like being professionally on Tinder without the creepy messages in the middle of the night. Well, there's sometimes the creepy messages in the middle of the night. Depends who you're recruiting and what for. So I want to talk to you about charismatic leadership because charismatic people are essentially people who can energize themselves. So they don't feed off the energy of the room because some rooms are dull, some rooms are boring, some conference calls are boring, some people are negative. Charismatic people can come into any space and go, this space is negative or it's flat. I bring the energy. And as recruiters, that's what you need to do. Because you're in talent. Other people can be feeling like, we can't find anyone. Is this job going to be any good? You need to bring the energy, okay? Just like on Tinder, every day is new, and if you don't go back out with a positive attitude, nothing good will happen. So I'm going to show you some techniques that charismatic people use to own rooms. And I'm going to start with this situation here, which is public speaking, because this is the easiest place to see it because it's under a magnifying glass. But you can then use this wherever you are. Literally on a call where they can't even see you, these techniques will work. Any room you go into, any one-on-one you're having, it'll work. But this is a great and easy place to see it, so I'm going to show it to you here. Now, people often say to me, but charismatic behavior, you can't learn charisma. You're born with it, or you're not. You've got it or you haven't. That's definitely not true. Apart from anything else, it's very unlikely you'll see a newborn baby and go, oh, look, just give him a chat show. He lights up the room. Nobody is born with it. Some people learn it in high school to get boys or girls to like them or to get bullies to leave them alone, but no one's born with it. And I know it's totally learnable because I'm a stand-up comedian. Have you ever seen a new act night or a new comedian on a bill? It's painful, isn't it? It's worse for you than it is for them in a way. And that's because everything about that new comedian comes out and says physically, help me. I don't know if I can do this. Will you share responsibility for my jokes? And what can you do? They're asking powerless people to help. All you can do is go, ah. But you don't even know when to do that because they're not conducting you to laugh. So all you can do is just sit and cringe and think, I would pay extra to make this stop. Now, every comedian who sticks at it and does 3 or 4 gigs a week for 6 months learns to come out, take the mic, and go, I've got this. Your only job is to relax and have a good time. If something's not funny, I can recover. And they're telling you that story physically. They can learn it in 6 months, doing little 5-minute gigs a few times a week. And when you think about that, it must be kind of an easy skill in that case to learn. Because you have to remember who comedians are. They're basically guys who live with their mums. They smoke a lot of dope. They're not winners. If they could learn charismatic behavior, how to own terrible rooms, drunken rooms of people who are looking in the wrong direction and don't want to listen, in 6 months, it will take highly intelligent, sparky, high-end, highly employable people like you 3 months max. You might have to do a few stand-up gigs. I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it. Go and stand on stage at a comedy club. Feel what it's like to own that room. Book in an open mic night far from your house. Never go local. It's a big mistake. You'll see your neighbors in the audience. So I'm going to show you a few things I do now when I come on stage to make it fun for me. So you can see and take these techniques out into the break. Now, when I come out to talk to groups of people like this, I don't get any change in state. So I was just having a nice chat with a guy called DK who was sitting over there. That was fun, one-on-one. This just feels like a one-on-one with all of you, which saves time. I don't get, this is the public speaking bit now. I don't get any shakes, I don't get any heart palpitations, but that's because of the things that I do when I do it. I've trained myself so that this is relaxing and fun for me. It's the stuff that I do. It used to be anxiety-inducing, to talk to 100 people or 50 people, but now I can talk to 5,000 people, except for the Executive Summit. And, because they've not left one at a time, I could talk to 5,000 people, and it's the same as talking to a couple of you having coffee. But I choose to do physical things that make it fun. I'm doing those things now, and so this is relaxing and easy for me. I can do just one thing differently, which will start to convince you that I'm less confident about being here. Now, I don't know if anyone can see the thing I'm doing, and if you've not seen me speak about this before, you might want to shout out and guess. You'll certainly be able to see that I'm now less confident. Certainly on the screen up there, I'm going to look just a little less confident about being here, and that's an automatic thing that's happening. You'll also be able to see behaviors that are unauthorized by me. They are just happening. They are automatic behaviors, and these behaviors are kicking in because of the one physical choice I'm making. Can anybody guess the physical choice I'm making? If you haven't seen me before. Slouching, that is automatic. That's not deliberate. It's triggered by this other thing. But it's interesting you said that. I didn't even really realize I'm doing it, but now I want to straighten up. Anything else you can see? Hands? No, hands is not deliberate. That just happens. The way I'm standing? Yes, it's something to do with that. Any guesses as to what? Yeah, I'm putting my weight on my back foot. And before, when I was talking to you, I had my weight on my front foot. Now see what happens to my hands when I put my weight on my front foot. They come out. It's really hard when I go on my back foot to keep my hands out because I can't balance. So immediately this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. If I put my weight on my front foot, this happens because it's hard to stand here and do this on the front foot. So a whole heap of other behaviors are triggered. Now, essentially the reason that I stand on the front foot, guys, when I'm in front of a big audience like this, is because it's hard to look scared of people you're coming towards. You don't go towards people you're scared of, you back away from them. So as soon as I come towards you, I seem very powerful. If I back away from you, as lots of speakers do, I start to find it much more difficult to generate content. So my sentences become much longer and much more rambly, right? I'm going to do more things now. I'm going to do things with my head and my hands and my eyes and my feet. So I'm going to turn my feet in so they're a little pigeon-toed. I'm going to try not to back off the edge of that stage, which I've just realized there's an enormous drop. I'm going to put my head on the side, and I'm going to flick my eyes around, so I'm not looking at any one part of the audience. I'm looking all around the audience. And now what's happening here very, very quickly and dramatically is that I'm changing now everything about the way I feel about being here. My heart rate has gone up quite dramatically, and I'm now pumping adrenaline through my body. So you'll probably be able to hear that my voice has changed, my vocal patterns have probably sped up. I can start to feel that my face is flushing. If you look at my hands, you'll see they've started to shake. Now, can you see the left hand is shaking a lot more than the right? Totally involuntary. I think it's because I'm left-handed. That's very bad because it's a very big room. That's about all I can do before I have to get rid of it because it's just too scary because I'm not used to stage fright. And what I've done is I've manufactured it. I think the left hand is shaking more than the right because I'm left-handed. That's my dominant side, and I'm getting ready to run. So the adrenaline is favoring the dominant side of the body. That's my guess. It always happens. I don't know why, but that's my guess. And once I feel I start to get flushed in the face, can you see in the front row there? I'm red. Once I start to flush, that's it. I can't do any more. What I've done is I've put some data into my body and said, back away from this audience. Keep checking. None of them are going to rush you. And my brain doesn't know the difference between imagined and behaved. So it just goes, right, get ready to run, and starts pumping. Everybody who has stage fright, everybody who has anxiety like this manufactures it. They don't know that they do it, but they do it. So I can do something else now. I'm going to open my body up, and I'm going to make myself very still, and I'm going to come towards you. I'm going to make my head very still. Now it's easy for me to say nothing. And if I do this for long enough, you'll notice I've stopped shaking. But you with the beard, you've started. So what I'm doing here is I'm manufacturing either a very powerful energy in this room, how I feel and how you perceive me, or a very anxious one. And the reason I can actually make myself shake is we were 10 million years on the savannah, and we've only been 10,000 years here at LinkedIn. So that's a long time to have got good at savannah living, right? And on the savannah, that's where we collectively manufactured all our commonly held phobias. If I let a bag of snakes out in here, people won't care they're at Talent Connect. They won't care who they're trying to impress. They're just going to run to the door. They're just going to jump on chairs and scream. Heights, even people who jump out of planes do it for an adrenaline rush. They don't do it because it's relaxing. We all have these commonly held phobias, but the number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. And that's because if I'm on the savannah even today and I wander away from my safari party and I come out into a big open empty clearing like this, and I look up and I see this many eyes looking at me, what probably am I? Prey, I'm lunch. The fear of public speaking is essentially the fear of being eaten, because audiences look a lot like lions. You sit and stare. See lions on a nature documentary. They're not busy. They sit and stare, and the lion will see the gazelle, and the gazelle will see the lion, and the gazelle will go like that, small, purposeless movements. And when the lionesses go, it's the lionesses that hunt, they move with purpose. You don't see the lionesses going, well, shall I get that gazelle, or shall you? No, we go together, that'd be lovely. When they move with great purpose. Their movements have beginnings and ends. When they bring the gazelle back, they don't go, oh, it's probably quite an old gazelle. It's probably going to die soon anyway. Still, team effort. When you're up here presenting, you probably feel like moving around a lot. And that's because a gazelle that's moving feels like a safer target than a gazelle that's just like this, right? And people always say to me, when I'm presenting, what do I do with my hands? Like, hands are new for the presentation. Like, I've been given this slide deck and now these. I think you should ask what you would do without your hands at such short notice. And no one ever asks me that in the bar. No one ever says, well, I've got a drink in this one, but this one just hangs. Because in the bar, you don't feel like prey. Up here, you feel like prey. That, to me, is the overuse of PowerPoint. You know now where there's a busy PowerPoint slide for everything? To me, the overuse of PowerPoint is just the savannah equivalent of a gazelle going, look, a zebra. And I'll be over here behind a large shrub. More zebras, more zebras, more zebras. I love this stage because there's nowhere to hide. Most events you go to, there's a great big wraparound lectern that you could win a war from behind. And the screen is in the middle, and that has become important. But a charismatic person isn't probably going to stand here unless they really have to, because that's where the microphone is linked to. Try and get out from behind, anything like that. Because if you ask Lady Gaga to come in here and sing, and she said, great, where am I singing from? And you said, from behind furniture in the corner. She would say, no, I'm not. She might pop out from behind furniture, but she's not going to stand behind a chest of drawers. If you are presenting, you are Lady Gaga. PowerPoint is the backup dancers at best. We communicate so much with slides now. Name the slide that has inspired you most in life. Name the slide that mentored you, that made you realize you can do it. Even a memorable slide, even a favorite slide. Anyone got a favorite slide? They do nothing. If a person has bothered to turn up to convince other people of something, then they need to be central. And this is the problem. Too often, we come to share information with each other. What do we need the other person to know? But in fact, we need to be asking the question, what do we want the audience to feel because we were here? And especially my passion in recruitment is diversity and inclusion. And I know a lot of you will have goals for diversity and inclusion. And it's a great example. It's a great example of needing to be a lion because of this. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day children will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. So, as this slide says, you can't change the world with your legs crossed. It's impossible. I have a dream. Watch Martin Luther King. Watch how he speaks. At no point is he asking, what do they think of me? Do they like me? Do you think that went okay? Do you think it was wrong? I think it was a bit dodgy in the middle, but I think it was all right at the end. He has no time to ask such a question. The only question he's asking when he comes out onto the stage is, how can I change you? How can I galvanize you? How can I make you get out and do something? That's the question you need to be asking every time you're on a conference call. You become audience conscious and therefore are not self-conscious. It's all you need to be asking at a networking event. Here, go up to someone who looks anxious, make them feel important. Find somebody who looks a bit walled, make them feel likable. That's all you need to know. You bring the energy into every room you're in. You are a lion. If you see a gazelle, make them feel good about themselves. Make them feel so important they start to feel like a lion. If you see a lion, they might be a bit cold. They might be a bit of a walled, cold lion. Make them feel more likable, more lovable, more listened to. This is how you change the world. I have a dream. Talent Connect, over the next 3 days, wherever you communicate, you are now a lion, you are not a gazelle. When you go back, you are a lion, not a gazelle. Every time you connect with someone else, whether it be up here, whether it be in person, you are a lion, not a gazelle. And you have a dream. Thank you so much. I've been Deborah Frances-White.